Good evening from the first day of the year 2013 from the Hostage Diaries. Hopefully, this will be the year of the escape and freedom, emancipation from the captivity that is my existence. Wondering if I'll ever see any sort of parameters of the freedom that I might expect. Well, the question there's got to be some changes in the energy. That's a constant work of mine is trying to figure out exactly what's gone wrong and trying to put some of the pieces back together, therefore able to the feng shui of life flowing in the proper parameters and directions, figuring things out while analyzing the past to uncover the facetious nature, the demonic facetious nature of the degradational catacombs that I've been traversing for so many years with nothing. I mean, I'm talking about a nothing year. We're talking about, and take pride in this. I mean, the funny part is people relish. That's hot dog on relish, relish in the fact that I suffer. It's all part of that. There's adages. The best revenge is well, good living good. Of course they got. That's one of the reasons that I get the shaft. And we're talking about shaft. My year consisted of I think I went to dinner at restaurants maybe like 4 or 5 times. I had dinner at family's house like 3 or 4 or 5 times. And I went for a lot of walks. That was about it. I went around, I walked through Savannah. I didn't have money most of the year, so I couldn't really do anything. I went to coffee maybe 2 or 3 or 4 times at a coffee shop. And I had a lot of meetings, but nothing ever came up. I mean, I was constantly trying to find employees for my venture here. It's funny, like that Nokia Lumia, the Nokia AT&T commercial that shows the Tiger Stripe Lamborghini work for Will Arnett. I'm looking for an assistant, Todd. It's a joke, I know. Same sort of thing as it's nothing new. Obviously, it's a known commodity, but it's worthless pointers. People just ignore it. They can always obviously the mob's gotten real good at just playing dumb. That's all it is. They play dumb, and then they've got their zoo hostage there, and time is money laundered and money drained. It's like my body. It's draining the blood out of my body. It's a well being dug or mines. I'm hollow. I echo from the inside. Whistle while you walk, because I got so many holes in me, like and I'm empty. Just been drained dry. And it's always a matter of validating the positives. Those that I enrich with my nutritional value, my nutrients that are extracted and reconstituted, regurgitated, are then put upon. It's creating these. It's a transference from my body into others, and any number of factors. We all understand that, and so you got to validate those that are um, utilizing my influence by desecration of the source. Therefore, it makes that's part of it. Just pile it on. I know the funny part, the Sun Life Orange Bowl. Sun Life, what a joke, huh? So, vulnerability seems to be the key. It's like I am able to be hacked and knocked down, or attacked, or accessed. If anything goes wrong, that's like a hostage. Hey, that's putting a gun to my head. Anything goes wrong, we can always pull the trigger, and I might end up. Well? I say that my year has been bad. At least I've slept in a bed, and I've had TV and cable, and I've actually had internet most of the year. So comparatively, it's not my worst year probably. Even though I don't know, at least in my past, I didn't have a place to live, but I was in a car, moving around. So it's how bad can it get without being, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely and it's all about banking exchanges. That's what I am. I'm a bank. I'm a hostage for a bank heist. You can call it whatever you want, but that seems to be the evidence that I've uncovered. Seems that I am, and there's several things that I'm used to invalidate. One of them, blood is thicker than water. There's several key parts that I am going to use to untangle these maxims. Blood is no longer thicker than water. That's why you get into the local teams, the colleges, you get the reconstitution. It's all about, that's why competitive sports is worshipped so much more, and materialism is so important, because, and then individual vanity. Therefore, the home is there. It's a slaughterhouse for the most part. So that's one of the things I'm trying to invalidate, is blood is no longer in America. Well, see, America wants to put that upon the world. That's the refinery chemistry set sort of mentality, that blood is thicker than water. A solid home is a nationalism, and a solid home is bad for materialism, because that brings into spirituality. They want consumers. That's what this is all about. They want you to worship the dollar and the consumers and your local teams. It's easier to butcher it makes the meat a lot tenderer in the slaughterhouse if it's a local product, that sort of mentality. So therefore, they want you to get rid of all your get rid of all your heritage. Now, blood doesn't matter at all. Your genes only matter when they're reconstituted in the system and things like that. Then it's the transference into exoskeletons and all this sorts of mutations that happen based upon the system itself to make them more powerful. What they've done is they've just rigged, instead of purists using the person themselves, they've rigged up a bunch of creative counting. And then another one is money can't buy happiness. That's something else that I for sure am proving that, it could with me, but I'm not able to have money, so I can't, therefore it couldn't buy happiness. It can definitely buy things that you might be able to accomplish. And then it's just all about the divided front. My exposure, it's the divide and conquer. That goes back to Louis Mark's toys, the Rock'em Sock'em robots. We're being played. We're on chumps on short leashes. And we got played for a long time. And like I said, we got brainwashed, overboard amnesia. And now, because of the short leash nature of what's going on, we're easily manipulated and then segregated into our various cages for captivity, so we'll be good hostages. Therefore, you can exploit many different variation angles. And the party generation doesn't necessarily help anything. We've got a party generation going on that it's just fueling the fires of the system itself. There's really no concern. I've actually tried to address the problems of what's going on, and nobody seems to care. All they care about is, first of all, screwing me down into the hole, keeping me in my Silence of the Lamb hole, and keeping the party going, because they want theirs. They don't care about the cost. They want their turn at the party. And Generation X and Generation Y screwed up so bad by doing nothing. And basically, they wanted some gummy bears. They ate a lot of gummy bears. So that way, the party system itself, which can't control itself, obviously, because of the hippie nature, the free love, free everything nature, and materialism and all that sort of stuff, and idolatry. Idolatry leads to an individuality that makes you think everything is so valuable. The value of life is increased. And I agree. I mean, for certain levels it should be, but when it starts getting way overvalued, it gets dangerous. We've gone from one extreme to where it's not valued at all to where it's just so valuable. That's another one of the lessons that I'm going to learn. One of the most common resources on the planet is being able to breathe. But me, I'm not going to, I'm castrated for all, just to make it so much more important. They think that's got, it goes back into several different mentalities, but by a VIP who's been castrated, therefore, makes all the other, everybody else so much more important. It's all about, what can I do for society? How can you screw me over? So by my life just being pathetic, and as it is, it's good for anyone else. It's a hostage. More and simple, it's a hostage for a bunch of codified feedlot livestock that are just sacred. They're sacred livestock that have gone completely apeshit with mad cow disease and have lost their minds. for the most part, and lost any sort of control. They lost control of the farms under all sorts of strange sort of thing. So the problem is I have assets, or I had assets. They tried to deem them as natural resources, but my asset, I'm not allowed to go to, I need an exchange. Like, I need someone to help me do something with the assets that I have, but I am not allowed. That's what I'm trying to access. I'm not allowed. I could use an agency to help me access I need connections, but I'm not allowed to. That's one of the reasons I am segregated into my Silence of the Lambs hole, my dungeon, is because other people want to use my assets. I'm a bank, therefore, but I'm not allowed to use myself. I'm a bank that's been it would be they're trying to say, oh, it's the revolution against the bank. They went ahead and just knocked over a bank, and they're trying to make it all romantic by being a revolution. No, they're just knocking over a bank. They killed, basically they took a bunch out of the principals are hostages, so they can do whatever they want. They took control of the counterfeit printing press, and they print a bunch of credit cards and things like that. So that's all it is. It's a bank job. It's the Italian job from 1969. They seized control of my water boy liquid assets, and they figured out all sorts of ways, and they're trying to call it energy. And to one degree, it is energy, but it's gone so much more overboard that you can't even imagine what's going on. And so I'm not even allowed access, even though I have assets. But rather, the people that I'm trying to access who lock me out are using my assets for other people who have no assets. So I have assets. I have, assets that I could convert. I'm not a deadbeat fucking bum. I'm not walking in and saying, give me something, please. Let me make something from scratch. I have assets I'm not even allowed to convert because other people are utilizing them, but I'm not allowed to. What a fucking sham, right? Yeah, just absolutely incredible. I pay for everything. And you can call it whatever you want. It's the energy. It really is. It's just the energy that I provide. I am energy. And anybody that wants can figure a way to plug me into me. And I'm not allowed to protect myself at all. And there's so many angles of exploitation. Manipulation of interpretation. I mean, what a nightmare. I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's another reason people don't ask me questions. They won't ask me a question. They want to be able to interpret and misinterpret more to benefit their cause. They want to benefit their plight, whereas I'm not able to clarify what is meant or said by that. Similar to what's going on in religion these days, manipulation of intent. And so it's just like you got to desecrate the source. You're going to utilize my influence while dividing my family into zoos and keeping us on a short leash captive because of the Columbia bum shun, because I was beat down so far because of my hacking, the hacking that just decimated my body and distributed all my energy. And therefore, well, the desecration, I mean, I can remember, literally it was like the X marks the spot. And to prove, they wanted to at any cost prove that I was there was a scam. They wanted to desecrate me. And so I was held in place on a relatively short leash under employment. And then people from all different, I was basically screwed over by inferiors. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but it's true. In the ranks, I'm a principal of a bank, and I was screwed over by people who weren't really worth the asset, didn't have the asset backing that I did. So therefore, they were screwing me over, validating their existence over mine, therefore accessing assets. And that accessing rank assets isn't a poker game or a game of battle. But I'm standing there as a hostage. And, this is all done in shadow accounting, creative loophole bookkeeping sort of mentality based upon the representational notation of what's going on in the symbology. So it's like it was like to desecrate me, it was like I would get screwed over by people from all over the country. Therefore, if something good happened, that it's like they didn't want a good luck charm. They wanted to discredit any sort of good luck. Therefore, because it's just bizarre, and that's one of the other reasons I was just I have to stand there and take it, bear and grin at the bare necessities. What a fucking sham, yeah. Bank robbery, bare necessities. That's that starvation hostage diet, biggest loser. Yeah, while you pick my pocket, that's the biggest loser. Yeah, you pick my pocket the most. I am the biggest loser. I got the most stolen from me, and then I'm locked out, so I can't get back at anything of what's mine. So it's desecration of the whole mentality of, so anything that seems to it really was. So I'm just standing there and I lose. I mean, I always get screwed over. I mean, literally, I was getting screwed over left and right or whatever. It's just slights or blemishes. Proactive blemishes. So anybody that it was just a mental brainwashing sort of mentality to desecrate, to hammer down, bury the victim even further. Well, they're trying to they don't want me to stand up. They were trying to just pound me and pound me. Maxwell Hammer, Sergeant Pepper, Lonely Hearts Club, Desecration. But I had done enough homework and I had figured enough. I mean, I'm talented enough, and even if I wasn't anybody, I should have made at least a few $1,000,000, but I'm not allowed to. Therefore, so that opens other questions into this whole concern. Another reason that I'm wasting away in Margaritaville here and just steal, it's meth lab. It's a lot worse than margaritas. They're trying to call it margaritas, but yeah, it's way, way worse than this. We're talking about, I mean, literally, look at the global economy. You try to tell me you can't even figure out what the future is going to hold. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. So yeah, it was just desecration by all people from all different sorts of factions. Rather than building bridges, relationships, it was tearing them down. That's what the bridges at Tokaree, blow up the bridges, any means necessary to desecrate the victim, to therefore validate. And I have a feeling, well, it goes back to what it's like, security for entertainers and things like that. I mean, I am literally used as a pawn. And I say, fuck you, insurance. That's another one of those manipulations, that shadow gray area, like we want to interpret this. Insurance, because my father is in the insurance business, we pay for everything. That's the, mentality. That's a sham. That's why I'm saying I would decline everything. Sun Life, yeah, bullshit. Mutual of Omaha, no. Blue Cross Blue Shield, strangled, kidnapped victim, bullshit. Decline all of it till I want to see some cold, hard fact. I want to audit everything we pay for because of horrific mismanagement, malfeasance. But I know it's too big to fail, right? So that's where you had to get into. There's so much guilt involved that I honestly think it was because they were pressing the issue of the amount of guilt. That's what it was about, pressing guilt. The farther we can take it, too big to fail. That house of cards is building, huff and puff, blow the house down. It's too big to fail, or is it? The global economy is going to pay, so now it's going to get really nasty. Either you got to build a bunch of franchises and strip malls and big fat McMansions. Therefore, you're going to dilute all the value, inherent value. Therefore, it's going to validate the system. And in the first place, it's bad economics. I say we call for a global trade conference and put an end to the sham that is the global economy.